Hello all you Dungeon Dice Monster fans. I'm creating this video because I felt like the first video dealt with me rambling off too much and it was a little unorganized. So I decided creating this video to explain kind of my plans with the game. And I created an outline so it's more organized, so I shouldn't just ramble off on random things. And if you fear that this video will slow down the process of me making this game, it's not, because I'm actually working on the game while I am talking right now. So I'm not sure what I'm going to use for a visual representation, but I'll probably just use like a couple pictures of people playing Dungeon Dice Monsters in the cartoon or whatever. But anyway, let's get started. So the first thing I want to talk about the rules. The rules I want to use are the ones written down by Mattel, I believe, or Bandai, or whoever created I forget who created the game. But anyways, closely to them, but not completely. There's a couple rules I'll take out. And if anything, if it's a huge thing or a huge deal, the rules will be able to be turned on and off in the options menu, so you should be able to customize the game yourself. However, I'm not sure what rules will stay and leave during campaign mode, because that probably won't lean on the options menu, but maybe. I think that would actually be pretty cool, but we'll see what happens when the game is done. Anyways, the rules I wanted to take out from the written down version in the rule book is the ability to roll twice. I think that's, too much help. I don't remember everything about it. I can't remember if you get to save the crests on both rolls, but it gives the player the opportunity to try to summon something with 2 tries, and I think that's a little bit of cheating. Though it was fun when I played the game, I still think it's kind of not cool now that I'm older, and after playing the Game Boy Advance version, they don't give you that option, and I think it's better just rolling the dice twice, because then the game just drags on and you gain way too many crests and the game just becomes too easy. It's better when you're low on crests, that way you can preserve what you have. So I hope you agree with me on that one, but if anything, if it's a big deal, like I said, I'll add it to the options menu that you can turn it on and off if you want that double rule deal thing. There's a lot of rules that you'll be able to turn on and off. Really easy to do, not a big deal. Alright, so that's why I wanted to talk about the rules, or as far as the dice rolls go, is those types. So definitely everything else should be basically the same. Again, another rule I'll be taking away is in the Game Boy Advance version, if your defense is higher than the attack and you attack, you lose a heart point depending on, say you're attacking with a 10 attack and the player has a 20 defense, you lose a heart piece. I think that's also kind of silly. I'm going to take that rule out too. I don't think you should be afraid to attack. So also, the game will probably not go by 10s and whatever, 10, 20, 30, 40. It'll probably be done more simplistic. It's more 1, 2, 3, and 4, because going by 10s and 20s and all that good stuff is a little confusing, because when you attack the Dungeon Master, he only has 3 hit points. So you're not taking away 10, which doesn't make sense. So you're going to attack him with a 10, but it just takes 1 heart point out. So I think everything should be 1, 2, and 3, and 4. I mean, regardless of your attack, if you attack with a 40 attack and hit the Dungeon Master, you still take out 1 heart. But there's no point of going by 10s and 20s, if you ask me. I think 1, 2, and 3, and 4 is fine. But we'll see. It might be kind of tough, especially with if there's the ability to half the attack. Maybe it might have to go by 10s and 20s. But for the time being, let's think about going 1, 2, and 3, and 4. That should be probably fine. Mainly because, like I said, the heart points are all just 1, 2, and 3s, or whatever, up to 5 at most in the game. So attacking by 10 and only taking out 1 heart point, it just doesn't make sense. So maybe leaning towards 1, 2, 3, 4 style attacks and defense, but we'll see. So there's that. Okay, the dice. I think this is actually a pretty neat idea. Custom dice. I think the Japanese version, they're allowed to customize their dice by attaching different panels. I think that should also be the case in this game. You should, when you win a duel, or a battle, or whatever you call it, a dice game, you should not win a complete die. You should win a panel. On that panel, you can add to another die, and you're able to create your own dice panels. Now, you'll lose those panels as soon as you summon the monster with those panels attached. So say you were just combine a die, a really cool die, with, ×2 movement, ×2 attack, and that stuff, or whatever, and you summon that monster using those dice. Basically, those panels are gone for the game, if that makes sense. So there's that. There's also preset dice we can create, so it's either customizable dice that you customize before the game, or you can have preset dice. So there's one or the other. It's up to you guys to choose. I can always have both in case you're too lazy to create your own dice. That's all fine too. But in other words, let me give a quick example. Say you have a level 1. A level 1 has 5 summon sides. Excuse me. Sorry, I just ate, so getting a little hiccups. Anyway, say you have a level 1 die which has 5 summon panels. You can only attach one extra panel to it because of level 1 it must always have 5 panels. Level 2 has 4 summon panels, so it means you can put 2 customizable panels onto it, so on and so forth, if that makes sense to you. So you're able to create your own dice. And the monster it summons, in the Japanese version, the way they do it is they do it by color, so a certain color only summons dragon. I'm not sure if I want to do that. I think if you basically summon a level 2, you should be free to summon whatever level 2 you want, but it's possible that we can change that, where you can then customize the color of the level. So in other words, a level 1 die, which would be really hard to summon to be honest, but a level 1 die you'd be able to put on different level 1 color panels. So in other words, you need to collect different color 1 panels. So if dragon correlates with orange, you would have to at least have 1 orange level 1 if you want to summon a dragon right away. That may add, well, it'll definitely increase the or decrease the probability of you getting what you want, but I mean, I couldn't increase the excitement, but it's up to you guys. Alright, so the next thing I want to talk about is the field, which this might be pretty cool to you guys, a cool idea. The field is pretty boring, it's just a field. I was thinking about having custom fields, like in Yu-Gi-Oh! When they duel, when they're in Pegasus' Island, each of the fields had a different quirk. I think that'd be a pretty cool idea, to have different fields that power up different monsters, but it's not just a field that's just preset to that. It's a field that you have to somehow summon. So basically you could summon a field, and I guess it wouldn't take any path. We'll see. I mean, it depends on you guys, but I think a field, and also just like in the card game, if someone else summons a field, then it basically or it gets rid of the old field, and you keep on going back and forth. So I think that's not a bad idea. Once you summon the field, you have to have so many fields in your dice pool, I guess they call it, in order for you to summon another one. So if you have 3 fields in your dice pool, then you can summon it 3 times. So that way it doesn't go back and forth, back and forth. People are fighting to see what field they want on the field. So there's that idea. I'm not sure what level the field should be. It should probably be a tough level to get, probably level 3 or level 2. I mean, no, excuse me, level 3 or level 4. Alright, so I think that custom field idea is actually a pretty neat idea. It actually does add a bit more strategy and a little bit more danger. Alright, so the next thing I want to talk about is the monsters. I talked a little bit about this in the last video, but I'll go over it again. Level 1s, I think it's really uneven in the Game Boy version, the Game Boy Advance version, where some level 1s had overpowering effects for level 1. Like, I don't think that a level 1 should have a free fly ability. I think you should use magic. So definitely there should be more emphasis on the magic crests, since there wasn't enough emphasis on it in the Game Boy. There's definitely none for the trap crest in the Game Boy game. So level 1's definitely either the ability requires some power or something like that. I really want everything to be even in this game. So there's that. Let me talk about the difference between magic and trap in my game, at least in my Dungeon Dice Monster game or version. Magic you can use on your turn, trap you can use on your opponent's turn and not yours. So that's how it's going to be. I think there should definitely be a difference, because in the Game Boy game and also in the actual board game, there feels like there's no difference. It just feels like they're just 2 different categories. There definitely should be a difference. So magic you use on your turn, trap you use on your opponent's turn. That's it. So definitely there'll be more traps involved in this game. Hopefully. I'm really hoping. Asha should be where a trap is when it's at least brought to the field. It's kind of unapparent that it's there. I haven't actually seen a single trap be used when I played the Game Boy Advance game, and I've beaten the entire game, and I don't think a single trap was ever used. So that was kind of a sad thing. And not only that, there's so many trap crests on the dice for the Game Boy Advance one. I'd have like 30 so trap crests at the end of the game, of almost every game, and never use a single one. So I'm not sure what the point of them were in the Game Boy Advance one, because they never implemented it. It was ridiculous. Alright, now here's another cool thing I hope you guys really like. I want to create a level 5 monster. Now, how do you summon that? Because there won't be level 5 dice. Since level 4, there's already only 1 summon crest on it, or whatever you call it. Yeah, summon crest. You have to roll 3 level 4 crests in order to summon level 5. So meaning that level 5 will be the strongest of them all. A very strong piece. Again, that's another thing I felt was kind of uneven in the game. Some level 4s, they suck, and some of them were really, really strong. It's either or. I think level 5 should be the super most intimidating kind, where there's almost like, it's just complete scare. It's totally scary that someone just totally summoned to level 5. So I think that'd be a pretty cool idea to have level 5 summonings, which is really hard to make. So that means you're throwing 3 level 4 sided crests. So that'd be, I think, a really cool idea is level 5. So that should be where Exodia, or actually, well, in the Game Boy game, there's actually different pieces of Exodia. If you summon all 5, you win. In the board game, there was a separate piece called I forget what it's called, Lord Summon Exodia or something like that, and I think it had a really awesome ability. I can't remember all of it, but I know I have it somewhere, and it's a really huge piece, and I think it kind of is bigger than most all the other ones, and it doesn't stand properly, if I remember properly. But anyway, I think level 5, there should definitely be level 5 pieces. So for people who are super risky or super lucky at rolling dice, man, level 5 would be for you, and that would be a really good piece to use. One piece I think that was overpowered in the actual physical board game was Mighty Mage. If you summon Mighty Mage, you had the ability to move 3 different paths. So every time I summoned Mighty Mage, midway through the game, I'd automatically win, because I would basically move all the monsters away, so that way no one can basically get to my Mighty Mage, and then completely surround Mighty Mage's path around the opponent's Dungeon Master and take them out. So alright, anyway, enough about that. Let's move on with other things. Some monsters I want to kind of retain their cartoon abilities, because I know their cartoon abilities and their Game Boy abilities and their physical board game abilities were all different. Thunderball, I definitely want his original ability, where he rolls over and instantly kills pieces. I think that's pretty cool. Iranzo in the video game, you can only use his ability once, which is ridiculous. I think you should be able to use Iranzo's ability almost any time during the game. And I think he should be able, if you want to use it during the opponent's turn, you have to use Trap. If you want to use it during your turn, you have to use a Magic Crest. So I think that would be pretty cool. So it would take 3 Magic Crests during your turn in order to create any crest. And then it should take 3 Trap Crests during your opponent's turn to create any crest. So if you want to create a quick defense crest, that'd be one way of doing it. That's just an idea I have. But Mighty Mage, oh man, because I know in the video game he doesn't have that ability of moving around the paths. I might keep his ability, but we'll see. So that's all I wrote down for monsters. And then the last topic I want to talk about, sadly last topic as far as I can think of, is the Monster Lord, or Dungeon Master, whatever they call it in the game. I don't remember anymore. He should be able to attack like he does in the physical board game, mainly because here's the thing. In the video game, if all your monsters are too far away and you're short on movement crest, which that's what it always kind of came down to, was movement crest in the game. Movement crests have like a big role in this game. So I think I should increase the amount of movement or at least the amount of movement crest multipliers on the dice, because everything seems to come down to movement crest. Without those, you basically don't have a game. You just basically have static creatures, which kind of sucks. But anyways, in the game, if your monsters were too far away and you didn't have enough movement crest, once your opponent, or at least once you in the Game Boy game, since the AI in the actual video game seemed to do nothing, once you got to the Monster Lord, Master Lord, whatever it's called, that was basically the end of the game. So in the board game, the physical board game, you were able to attack with the Monster Lord or Master Lord, giving you another chance to survive, and I think that should be fine. You should be able to attack. Another idea I thought of is there should be different Monster Lords. Here I wrote them as Monster Lords, so we'll just call them that for now, right now. But there should be different Monster Lords. So you should be able to have a Monster Lord with different abilities depending on, how well you're doing in the game. Maybe you'll collect a really rare piece that gives you a pretty awesome Monster Lord ability. I think that'd be pretty cool to have effects. Now another thing I wanted to ask you guys, because I don't know about this one, I don't know how I feel about this, But in the manga, the Monster Lord was able to run. Actually, Yugi almost lost against Duke Devlin in the comic. The comic, I think, was way better than the actual cartoon, as far as I know. Or, I mean, as far as I see. Because, yeah, the cartoon was really dumb, especially when they played Dungeon Dice Monsters. If you compare it, it was kind of silly. And the plot made more sense in the comic than it did in the anime. The anime's plot was really kind of ridiculous. Anyways, in the manga, Yugi had to run with his Monster Lord, or else he would have lost. And he was running all over the board, and he used the Knight of Twin Swords to defend him, if I remember properly. I think it was Orgoth who was chasing him down. And so, what do you guys feel about that? Should he be able to move, or should he be a static piece? I'm not sure. I'm having a hard time figuring out how it should be. As far as he goes, should he be able to run around? It's a good thing. It's an interesting thing to think about. You know, how should it work? Should he be able to use the movement crest to walk around the board? Well, anyway, I'll leave that to you guys. As far as the game goes, as far as what I have so far, the Monster Lord guy, whatever he is, he cannot move. But it'll be easy to make him move. He'll definitely always start in that same location. So that... Oh, you know what? Let me add another thing I want to talk about, which won't be hard to do either. Yeah, maybe it will be a little rough, but I don't mind. 4-player mode. I don't think 3 players would be that great unless I have the third person in the center of the board, but then it's basically like 2 against 1, which isn't cool. But 4-player mode would be pretty cool to have 4 people go against each other. I think that'd be cool. I would have to probably readjust the board a bit. Well, I don't know. It's hard to say. But definitely 1 player at each side, so 2 of them are facing off against each other in the center, long ways, and the other 2 are facing off against each other, more close up, since this is kind of like a wider or a stretched, it's stretched vertically kind of board, I mean. But anyway, so those are ideas. Just tell me what you guys think. That's basically maybe perhaps the future of the game. All these things I said are not hard to do. And I'm sure I'm going to get some ideas out there, which are great. Some will probably be really ridiculous and impossible to do. But definitely don't be afraid of still bringing them up, even if they are really tough to think about. Because I might be able to do amazing things with the game, but I can't do everything at this point. I'm not the best programmer in the world, but I do feel I am pretty dang good. At least in my class, as far as I understand, I'm pretty dang up there compared to most of my classmates. Because I've been programming for longer than I know most of them have, and yeah, it really helps. I started before high school, actually. When I was really interested in making video games, I just taught myself. And I think it's always best to go self-taught. So if you want to learn how to program, and you're young, and you're listening to this video, I highly suggest you begin on your own. And it won't be easy. It took me an entire year to actually figure out the concepts of it. Understanding how to do basic command prompt stuff is really easy, but going beyond that is tough. Understanding how it all connects is tough, but don't be discouraged by the difficulty of programming. I really highly suggest you just keep on moving and spend that year, because like I said, it took me a whole year of just rereading this textbook I had. A really terribly written textbook too, but and even to today's standards, oh man, it's really badly written. It made like no sense, and basically a guy was just more like, just follow me and then you'll get it right. But that shouldn't be how it is. Ask questions, definitely. Always ask. Always wonder why is this like this? Why do I need to do it this way? And then you'll definitely come to the answer if you keep on asking. Eventually you'll be able to do things effortlessly, where you just think it up and then, okay, I know how to do that, and just type it up. That's basically what you want to do. And yeah, there's a little bit of inspiration for you guys who want to be future programmers or software engineers or computer scientists, whatever you like to be. Definitely that's how I began. I was 14, maybe a little younger, and I just basically just ran with it, and I just keep on trying, no matter how many times I got it wrong. I keep on trying. I keep on messing with stuff. Another way you can do it is, and this isn't really what I recommend, is you could take someone's code and mess with it and see how it changes the whole program. I wouldn't really recommend that. I'd always say to basically start the code from the beginning and go from there. Don't ever take shortcuts, because you won't learn that way. Always start at the very beginning, no matter how boring and how yeah, I can't even say it, but anyway, no matter how many times you need to repeat the same thing over and over again. I know it's, gets a little annoying having to type the same thing over and over and over again. It's still good practice, because after it'll be like basically programmed into you to always start your programs off the same way. And maybe you'll come up with your own different ways of starting up programs, because there's many different ways of doing anything, especially in programming. There's never only one solution, there's many. So, yeah, trust me, anyone can program, I think, as long as you have the motivation there. And just understand algebra. And understand, when you do algebra, even though they kind of teach it, I think they should teach algebra a little differently. I think in algebra they shouldn't be afraid to use words as variables, because you have to do that in real life. But anyways, in algebra, understand first, when you learn algebra, if you're in algebra or if you're beyond that point, understand why variables exist and understand what you could do with them and the proper format. Just remember, y should always be on the left side and x should always be on the right side. Even when you're moving variables around, always put y on the left side. There's a reason because of that. Because when you program, when you define a variable, the actual name of the variable must always be on the left side, and the definition must always be on the right. So that's why that's like that. So to be completely honest with you, when you learn algebra, it's almost like they're basically like teaching you how to program, but on paper. That's really what algebra really is. The setup and everything is very much the same to how computer programming works, which is kind of funny. Anyway, how long is this video? 21 minutes. Oh man, I didn't mean to do that. Alright, well that's it for me on this video. I hope you enjoyed it, and I will talk to you guys again, I guess, in the next video. See you later.